A deadly crash in Provo started when a teen stole an SUV and led police on a chase. We'll give you the latest on what happened.
All eyes on Facebook today in its second day of trading. We'll see how the stock is faring as investors assess Friday's disappointing debut.
And it seems the internet didn't kill the travel agent. Why more people are turning to travel agents to book vacations.
This is KSL, your news specialists today.
Well, good Monday morning. Thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Scott Haas.
And I'm Tanya Papanikolas. It was a beautiful, beautiful weekend.
Perfect.
Yes. And Grant is enjoying the weather this morning. He is outside giving us a look at what's going on. Oh, I hear leaf blower man.
Well, this time I'm across the street. I think what you're hearing is a jet plane going by. This time we learned from we learned from the last time. We're going outside. Let's go across the street. Something a little different. Let's just go across the street. So not so bad here this morning, as you can see, guys, behind me. What a beautiful start to the day here downtown. Temperatures are already at about 60, and we just picked the warm days to go outside. Today going extra warm, sunny skies, a little breezy, close to 90. Do we hit 90 again in Salt Lake? We're going to be really, really close, guys, and close to 100 again down to the south. Warm temperatures across the state. But as we look ahead to the week, things getting much cooler. And we're going to tell you when that is and show you the 7-day forecast that is coming right up.
Okay, thanks a lot, Grant. All right, now we're going to check in with Andy Farnsworth and get the latest on the roads.
Good morning, guys. We're still in good shape overall. This is University Parkway. Of course, we had the big closure over the weekend. You can see there's still a lane restriction on the exit ramp, but traffic is getting through there. Traffic is looking good on the freeway as well, and that continues into the Salt Lake Valley. Here's what it looks like just before you get into downtown, right around 3300 South. You can see traffic moving just fine. That's the same in Davis County as well. Back to you.
Thanks, Andy. New this morning, a teen is in custody today after causing a deadly crash in Provo.
Police say the teen stole an SUV, then led police on a chase, crashed into another SUV, and then tried to run from officers. News specialist Shara Park talked with officers earlier this morning and has the latest. Shara?
Well, Scott and Tanya, Provo police tell me that earlier in the afternoon, the 17-year-old ran away from the Provo Canyon School, a school for troubled teens who often have problems with gang activity, drug abuse, and other criminal activity. Police tell me that the teen was reported missing from the school in the early afternoon hours. Then a few hours later, someone called to report that they had just returned home to find the teen in their home committing a burglary. The teen fled the home, and then a couple hours later, he was spotted driving a stolen SUV near the school. Police caught up with him and attempted to stop the SUV at 1800 North Freedom. However, he refused to stop and fled southbound on University Avenue. Now, at first, the teen was going the speed limit, police say, but then as the SUV approached 300 South, he began to accelerate. At that point, Provo police shut off their overhead lights and terminated the pursuit, but the teen didn't slow down. Witnesses say he continued speeding south on University Avenue at over 100 miles per hour until he slammed into the back of another SUV.
He hit the back of that car at an extremely high rate of speed. Our sergeant that was coming off the freeway said when he looked up, he saw, the two cars, the two SUVs, 8 feet in the air before they come down from the collision.
Provo police say after the crash, the teen got out of the vehicle and ran towards I-15. A sergeant was northbound at the time and saw the accident and the teen running towards the freeway and attempted to stop him.
The sergeant that had witnessed the accident pursued him across the overpass, jumped over the barrier down the side to the freeway, and he was running down the side of the freeway southbound when the sergeant apprehended him.
Now back at the scene of the crash, police say an elderly couple was inside the vehicle that was hit and they were severely injured. Both were transported to Provo area hospitals. The driver is in ICU this morning and is expected to survive. His wife, however, died on the way to the hospital as a result of her injuries. Now, police at this point have not released the name of the elderly woman who died in this crash. They tell us they're in the process of notifying her family about what happened. The teen, we're told, is currently in police custody. Scott, Tanya, back to you.
All right, Shara, thank you. A gang task force is keeping an eye out for a man who opened fire in Salt Lake Sunday morning. Now, police say a truck pulled up next to a pair of men walking on Redwood Road. Someone from the truck then pulled out a gun and fired off several shots. One of the men was hit in the stomach. He is in critical condition. And police are on the lookout for a man who they say tried to run over police officers before leading them on a high-speed chase. Police say John Jesse Zamora has been on the run since Saturday. He's believed to be armed and dangerous. It started Saturday when officers saw the suspect's car, followed it into a parking lot, and that's when Zamora allegedly aimed his car at officers, started driving toward them. One officer fired a shot at the car, shattering a window. Now, police called off a high-speed chase to protect the public. Zamora did get away, and police were asking for your help finding him. He's believed to be driving a gray 1990 Lincoln Town car with Utah license plate number C892JE.
It is sentencing day in the Rutgers webcam spying case. Darun Ravi could get 10 years in prison for hate crimes against Tyler Clementi. Clementi jumped off New York's George Washington Bridge and killed himself after Ravi used a webcam to spy on him with another man. A jury convicted him of spying on and intimidating his gay roommate. Deliberations continue today in the John Edwards campaign corruption trial. Shortly after starting deliberations, the jury asked to review several exhibits concerning the more than $700,000 provided by heiress Rachel Bunny Mellon. Hundreds of documents will help the jury decide whether the funds given to Edwards to help hide his mistress constitute an illegal campaign contribution. Edwards is charged with 6 criminal counts, including conspiracy to violate federal election campaign laws. If convicted, he could be sentenced to as much as 30 years in prison.
Well, day 2 of trading for Facebook starting in just a couple of hours. So how will the social media giant do after falling really flat at the end of day 1? Brian Moore joining us live from Washington this morning, tracking the story. Good morning, Brian.
Hi, Scott. Well, let's just say it was a lackluster day for Facebook. First day, IPO out, the whole world watching. NASDAQ apparently had a bad day of its own. The trading giant had a big problem. They tested everything out. They thought they could deal with all this volume, and what happened was there was just a catastrophic fail. All of this volume left traders, professional traders, wondering whether they'd actually made a purchase and at what price. It just sort of all fell apart, just a gigantic mess. Fortunately, there was an upside for this epic week for Mark Zuckerberg. The 28-year-old billionaire not only celebrated a birthday, he had a surprise wedding over the weekend. He married his longtime girlfriend, Harvard classmate and girlfriend, Priscilla Chan. It was a surprise party that turned out to be a surprise for the people who went to the party. Nobody knew beforehand. 100 people, very intimate gathering. She wore a white dress. He ditched the hoodie for a suit and tie. He designed the ring, and they had a meal that was catered by one of their favorite restaurants. And to cap it all off, Scott, they had some chocolate treats that they shared during their first date together. A little nostalgia. Hopefully today will go better for the first day of their first week of their newlywed status.
Yeah, a lot of things going on for Zuckerberg. Let's quickly, before we let you go, ask about how important is it that Facebook does well with regards to investors and the market? I mean, it's really the first social media company to wade into these waters.
Well, let's put it this way, Scott. Anybody who's getting into the stock market looking at 1 or 2 days, their whole, life savings rising or falling is just insane anyway. This is sort of a long-term thing where you should be looking weeks, months, years out. As far as Facebook, we've talked about this before. It's sort of an oddball stock. People are not investing in what the brick and, mortar fundamentals are. It's sort of an idea of what Facebook can be. And here's what the bottom line is for me. Some, reporter sitting here in Washington. This is a company that has 900 million members. Not only that, but in an unprecedented way, it knows everything about us. It knows how we're all connected. Google is just guessing at that kind of thing. So Wall Street is betting long term that Facebook will be able to find some way to monetize itself, some way to justify the $19 billion investors gave to the company on Friday.
All right, Brian Moore in Washington. Thanks, Brian. We appreciate it. Tanya?
Memorial Day is just a week away now, and if you still want to book a trip, you might consider working with a travel agent instead of doing all the work online yourself. The average traveler spends hours booking their own vacations, visiting about 21 sites in 9 different web sessions for just one trip. Does that sound familiar? Well, for that reason, travel agents are becoming popular again.
Travelers are really looking for some advice, somebody who can answer questions for them, somebody who has experience in traveling. and they can't always get that online.
And agents can help if something goes wrong. If there are problems from weather or emergencies, agents are there for you. As with anything, though, it is always best to shop around before committing.
Well, who would have thought that Canaryville would have been the destination of choice for a lot of people over the weekend? Well, thousands of people indeed flocked to southern Utah to witness an incredible, out-of-this-world sight. We'll introduce you to some of the interesting people who came out to see the solar eclipse.
And protests to politics. Chicago sees massive violent demonstrations as world leaders gather for the NATO summit.
All right, speaking of the eclipse, we've got other pictures to show you from up north. Pretty neat, and we're going to show you that coming up. Also, the weather today, extra hot once again. We'll get to that coming up.
Well, traffic on I-15 came to a standstill at times late last night and into early this morning as hundreds, if not thousands, of people made their way home from Canaryville.
That was the best place to see the eclipse, and science and nature specialist John Hollenhorst was there. He shows us how the solar event did not disappoint.
It's the biggest thing ever to happen in Canaryville.
It's an amazing event. We're thrilled. Never have this many people come here for such a wonderful event.
Vendors were there to serve many hundreds, perhaps thousands, who came from long distances.
We drove down from Sandy, got up this morning and headed down. Just thought it'd be a good idea to come down and see it from the sweet spot, see the perfect ring of fire.
The mood was lighthearted and, well, a little strange at times. Some people anticipating possible aliens.
We wanted them to abduct us. We just didn't want our brain waves to be fried.
Oh, that is sweet.
Many waited for hours in the blazing sun. Around 6:20, the moon slowly started moving across the face of the sun.
Oh, I see it. Oh my gosh, I can see it.
As the eclipse proceeded, there were many viewing schemes, high-tech, low-tech, and something in between.
And the moon looks like it's about 70% toward totality now.
This California visitor streamed the eclipse via cell phone to a friend in Texas.
They can watch it thousands of miles away.
A TV crew from Japan beamed it live across the Pacific because it was too cloudy back home to see it.
That's so cool.
As the eclipse advanced toward the climax, the crowd grew more excited.
I think maybe just a couple more seconds.
It's almost there.
I drove up here from Los Angeles. It's been great. It's super neat. Burn, 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 the ring of fire.
And then with the crowd amped up, the circle of fire was complete.
Here we go! Oh!
Yes!
Woo! This is so totally awesome!
Even an old astronomy buff like Patrick Wiggins, who's seen many eclipses, professed to be delighted.
Oh, look at that. I mean, sometimes Mother Nature... I'm sorry, this is just great.
John Hollenhorst, KSL 5 News.
He was so excited. Look how cool those pictures are. And now the next thing to look forward to is 5 years from now in 2017 when we get a total eclipse rolling across Idaho and Wyoming.
There we go. So people will be getting it's just fun to hear people cheering. Mother Nature.
I know. Woo! Like when, right on. It's like doing it for a sunset or something. You're holding up your cell phones and stuff. By the way, Patrick Wiggins, the guy shown at the end there, he, hats off to him. He sends us information all the time. He's been giving us the heads up on all this and the locations, and he just does this on his own.
He's passionate about it.
He's passionate about it, and he passes it on to the media. So he's responsible for us covering these stories. So that's good stuff there.
Very cool.
All right, weather-wise, guys, it was beautiful yesterday, was it not?
Yes. I think we have one thing we're supposed to do before that.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well then, okay.
This is a picture we were going to check out.
Yes, a special proposal. I know where this was taken.
Yeah, they made this during the eclipse. Even more memorable because the proposal by Jordan Naylor to his girlfriend Aubrey at the top of Bryant Head during the peak of the Ring of Fire. And Tanya, did she say yes?
She said yes. Yes. So thanks, Mike Samich, for sending us the picture.
Okay.
Very cool. They'll remember that.
All right, and here's another view of that eclipse here from Pam Gaines. This was taken up north, but take a look at just a beautiful photo there. And for most, it was a good time to watch. Temperatures were good as well, and it should get even warmer for today. Salt Lake City's at 54, Provo's at 48, St. George in the middle 60s. We're looking at lots of sunshine today. It's going to be a little hotter today than it was yesterday, by about 5-6 degrees or so, 85, maybe up to 90 along the Wasatch Front. You know, we should. I just applaud Mother Nature for various things. If you like a warm day, there's no reason why you can't applaud. No one's stopping you, you know. Anyway, skies are clear right now, guys. If we look to the north and west, though, yeah, we're going to find some clouds up there. Don't have to worry about the change yet today, but eventually midweek we will look for some change in the weather. Today, though, it's going to be a breezy day, one of those warm days, clear skies, and then up to the north and west again. A cold front's there. Will be approaching us, and by Wednesday, we're going to expect a change in the weather, cooler and wet weather. Not so much today, though. Hot. In fact, even hotter than it was yesterday. St. George up to 97. Zion should be cooking up to near 100. Same thing with Lake Powell. Upper 80s for places like Panguitch and Beaver and Canaryville. Kind of the claim to fame yesterday with that eclipse viewing. 90s in Moab and 80s in Monticello up to the east and central. Temperatures really soaring here. A little breezy. Price up to close to 90 degrees. Same thing with Wendover as well. Delta about 90 degrees. Way up to the north, temps in the 70s and low 80s. Huntsville at about 80 degrees. And for the Wasatch Front, temperatures near 90. Plenty of sunshine. Dixie 7-day. Hot again tomorrow. Not so much on Wednesday. Push of cooler air comes in. So, Dixie, maybe not too noticeable on Wednesday, but you know what? By the end of the week, St. George, your temperature is not nearly as hot. In fact, a little cooler than usual for the end of May. And for the Wasatch Front, tomorrow looks really nice. Again, breezy, especially in the afternoon with more clouds coming in. We're expecting a cold front to get here between Tuesday and early Wednesday. And so look at the drop there. Yeah, near 90 today, 50s and 60s on Wednesday. Remember Friday? The weather on Friday? Wednesday looks a lot like that. Just about as cool with rain likely. And maybe we get more rain on Thursday. And looking ahead to the upcoming 3-day weekend, at this point, looks like it's going to be a lot different from the last weekend. Cloudy, cooler, maybe more rain on the way, possibly even both days heading into the holiday, guys. Something that we definitely need to keep watching, you know, as things change for us here.
Okay, Grant, thank you. All right, now 6:19, time for another check on the roads with Andy Farnsworth.
And we're still looking at a very nice drive on I-15 in Davis County, the whole way from Ogden to Salt Lake City. This is in Woods Cross. That's southbound on the left. Traffic just fine, as you can see. And throughout the Salt Lake Valley, looking pretty nice, too. Here's what it looks like right after the 90th South on-ramp in Sandy. But this is typical for what you'll see all the way from Provo to Salt Lake City. So we're in good shape in both directions. Back to you.
All right, Andy, thank you. We are gearing up for the Carrie Underwood concert. Word of the day, Wood, right? Here's all you have to do. Just email us at Morning Show, right?
Yeah, morning show at KSL.com. And you don't even have to tell us anything specific. Just send us an email with your name. And it'd be good to include your phone number as well. We will announce our winner at the end of the show. That concert is October 10th at the Maverick Center.
And here's the good news. If you don't win today, try again tomorrow. If you don't win tomorrow, try again Wednesday. We have tickets all week long.
Yes, we do.
Right?
5 chances. Mm-hmm. A Polish man takes on a big challenge, and it is creating quite the buzz, literally.
I'm sorry. There's no way. Next in Wayman's World, we'll show you this daredevil beekeeper and try to figure out really what is he trying to accomplish. And this isn't the best part of the video yet, or the worst part. We've got to show you this.
24 minutes after 6 o'clock. Here's your bus stop weather forecast. Not all that chilly at all this morning. Hot day today when the kids are getting out of school. Dress for summer. Wayman's World time right now. Some severe weather to start off with in Kansas. A great place to get tornado video because they get so many per year. Look at this video here from New Harper, Kansas. Southwest of Wichita. There were actually a number of tornadoes that touched down. This one, so impressive. Obviously, there's damage there. You can see things flying around. Look how close they got. Wow, what a risk they're taking. But thankfully, nobody injured in the number of tornadoes that did touch down. But just look at that.
You just see the fury of that thing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
The spiraling. All right, and now we go to Nebraska. Severe weather here as well. There was a number of tornadoes. We don't know as much about this storm, but it appears to be a tornado in the formation in Kansas, or rather Nebraska as well. All right, we saved the best for last. Folks, if you don't like bees, I don't know. You may not want to watch this. I can't watch this. This is a crazy guy in Poland. He's a beekeeper, all right? And he just wanted to see if he could withstand 30,000 bees put on his body. Oh my goodness. And apparently he only got 2 stings in all of this. Oh, but you just got to keep watching it. Or maybe you don't. I tell you what.
Oh my gosh. I just can't believe that he did that.
30,000.
Now watch this move. This is the best move right here. So he's gonna try to get the bees off. 1, 2, oh yeah.
Yuck!
I can't believe he only got sent twice. Doing that when you're shaking? Grant is so creepy.
I just can't watch
Talk.
Okay. There's one for the books in Wayman's World right there. Poland bee guy.
It was all an attempt to get his video to go viral.
Thanks, Grant.
It worked. All right, it's 6:26. We move on this morning. The NATO summit continuing in Chicago today. President Obama and NATO leaders meeting for a second day with the Afghanistan president while thousands march in protest through Chicago streets.
And an 87-year-old woman is in the hospital after 3 people broke into her home and beat her. The latest on the investigation and what happened.
And new this morning, an elderly woman is dead after a teen steals a Mercedes and leads police on a chase. We'll tell you how it all came to an end coming up.
This is KSL, your news specialists today.
Welcome back, and thanks for being with us. I'm Tanya Papanicholas.
And I'm Scott Haas. It has been spectacular weather the last few days. Grant Wayman decided to head outside and enjoy some of the morning air. It's just perfect out there, Grant.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's almost 60 degrees already. We're looking for another hot day today. It was great for the weekend. You know, we stopped at 70 Saturday, got like in the 80s yesterday. So even hotter for today, guys. In fact, we might hit 90 again today. How about that? Or close to it this afternoon. With lots of sunshine. Probably be a little breezy in the afternoon as we get up to near 90. South wind helping to mix the air, make it even warmer. Down south, we're going to see some pretty hot temperatures too. In fact, Dixie close to 100 today. Same thing with around Lake Powell and to the east, nice and warm. Warm temperatures up north too. We'll see highs in the 80s or close to it. Even high elevations like Park City, well up to the north of us, Evanston, pushing to near 80 as well. And again, near 90 here along the Wasatch Front. So look for a warm, very summer-like day today. Tomorrow looking pretty good too. As we head into the week and toward Memorial Day weekend, though, temperatures going the other way. So we'll get to that. Talk about what that's all about in the 7-day forecast coming up.
Okay, thanks, Grant. We'll see you in a little bit. Right now, it's time to check in with Andy Farnsworth. He is in the KSL Traffic Center to give us a look at the roads. Andy, good morning.
Good morning, Tanya. The roads are in excellent shape. I've got just as much good news as Grant does about the weather. We'll start off on I-15 towards the south end of the Salt Lake Valley. This is the Bangor Highway on-ramp. There was actually a car that had broken down on the on-ramp going on to North 15. It's obviously driven away, but you can see a very light commute, especially through the south end of Salt Lake County. We've had excellent speeds through Utah County as well, so really nothing to worry about through there. A little closer to the south interchange. This is right over I-215. As you can see, not really much traffic added to the bunch as you head through there. I'm wondering if some people have today off. Who knows? Up in Davis County, it's been pretty good shape. This is in Clearfield, actually coming down past Center Street in Clearfield. You'll see traffic fill in just a little bit as you go south, kind of looking into the distance, but nothing to worry about. Right, we'll take one more look right before you get to the North 215 interchange in Davis County. That's right, coming up here. There we go. And speeds are excellent there. So accident-free, even on the surface streets. I haven't had anything to worry about whether you're in Salt Lake City or on any of the other valley streets. So very nice start. Kind of a nice, tranquil Monday morning so far.
Yeah, maybe people still making their way back from Canaryville watching the eclipse.
That's kind of what I was wondering because,
right.
you know, unless you wanted to drive half the night, people spent the night, come back today.
Okay. Thanks, Andy.
You're welcome.
Well, this morning, a 17-year-old is in police custody after they say he caused the deadly crash.
It happened just after the teen was involved in a chase with police. Sheriff Park has been talking with Provo police throughout the morning and joins us now with the very latest.
Well, Scott and Tanya, Provo police tell me that earlier in the day, the 17-year-old ran away from the Provo Canyon School, a school that is for troubled teens who have had issues with gang activity, drug activity, or other types of criminal activity. And police tell me that the teen was reported missing from the school Sunday afternoon. A few hours later, someone called to report that they had returned home to find the teen had broken into their home and was committing a burglary, was even wearing their clothes. The teen fled that home, and then a couple hours later, the teen was seen driving a stolen Mercedes SUV SUV near the Provo Canyon School. Police caught up with him and attempted to stop the SUV at 1800 North Freedom. However, the teen refused to stop and fled southbound on University Avenue. Now, at first, the teen was going the speed limit, but then as the SUV approached 300 South, the vehicle began to accelerate. At that point, Provo police, they shut off their lights and shut down the pursuit. That didn't slow the teen down. He continued to speed at over 100 miles an hour until he slammed into the back of another SUV.
He hit the back of that car at an extremely high rate of speed. Our sergeant that was coming off the freeway said when he looked up, he saw, the two cars, the two SUVs, 8 feet in the air before they come down from the collision.
Now, police say after the crash, the teen got out of the vehicle and ran towards I-15. A sergeant who was northbound at that time on his way to work saw the accident and the teen running towards the freeway.
The sergeant that had witnessed the accident pursued him across the overpass, jumped over the barrier down the side to the freeway, and he was running down the side of the freeway southbound when the sergeant apprehended him.
Now, back at the scene of the crash, police say an elderly couple were injured. Both were transported to Provo area hospitals. The driver, we're told by police this morning, is in ICU and is expected to survive. His wife, however, died on the way to the hospital as a result of her injuries from the crash. Now, police have not released the name of the elderly woman who died. They tell us they're in the process of notifying family members this morning. As for the teen, he is currently in police custody, facing a number of charges. Scott and Tanya, back to you.
All right, Shara, thank you. In other news this morning, a woman in critical condition after being attacked in her own bedroom by a group of people who broke into her house.
And police are still looking for those behind the beating. News specialist Andrew Adams is live in the newsroom with the latest on this story. Andrew?
We're talking about an 87-year-old woman here. I mean, a lot of people out there think about it like your grandma. That's the age we're talking about. Just asleep in her own bed. These people came in and attacked her while she slept. This went down in Mill Creek around 1 a.m. on Sunday morning. Unified Police say it's believed the 3 attackers, 2 men and a woman, walked right past the woman's 53-year-old son who was sleeping on the couch. For whatever reason, didn't do a thing to him. Instead, they crept into this woman's bedroom. She probably couldn't defend herself even if she was awake. They attacked her in her sleep. Cops say the son woke up during the attack, ducked outside, and called 911. The 3 took off after the attack, left the woman with severe head injuries and cuts. Investigators are trying to piece this one together. Kind of a head scratcher in terms of what the motive would be. Nothing was stolen from the home. Police do not believe the attack was random, again because of the fact that these attackers went right past the son and didn't touch him. There was also some sort of roommate in the home at the time. Now, the descriptions of the suspects are rather vague. One guy apparently had a gun. The better description is of the woman. She's in her 40s, about 5'6", 135 pounds. She was wearing a light-colored shirt at the time, but that's really all police have to go on. Back to you.
A bizarre and sad story. Thanks, Andrew. Well, today is the last day of the NATO summit in Chicago, and the focus is on Afghanistan. Today, NATO will officially endorse a plan to wind down the war in Afghanistan by the year 2014. President Obama hopes to get NATO leaders to commit money and manpower to help the country even after the war is over. Protesters and police clashed outside the NATO summit in Chicago yesterday. The clashes erupted toward the end of a day of peaceful protests. Authorities described them as anarchists who plotted to attack Obama's Chicago campaign headquarters and lob Molotov cocktails at police during the summit. So definitely been violent there yesterday. Doug Wright is here to weigh in. Do you think the message of the summit is being lost because of these protests?
To a degree, I think so. Anytime you have that kind of activity, especially when it turns violent, as long as the protests are peaceful, you'd like to think that maybe the message would get out, but the focus wouldn't totally shift. But once it does turn violent, once you do have a lot of arrests, which was the case, then all of a sudden, I think people start missing the message, which is that during this summit, there was an endorsement of basically what is the U.S. proposal for the strategic pulling out of Afghanistan, of not only U.S. troops, but those allies that are there with us. It would hand over the lead role of the combat operation by mid-2013, and then most of the alliance troops, the goal would be to be out by 2014. But as you reported, President Obama wants to make sure, and this is a term that's almost become trite, but it is very, very important, winning the peace. And after troops are withdrawn and the foreign influence isn't quite as dominant and obvious, the idea is to not let everything just spin out. Now, General John Allen is warning that bloodshed will not subside anytime soon. So it's not like we're pulling out when everything is, or this plan is falling into place when everything is just peachy over there. Things are still very, very tough, and General Allen is warning that it's not going to get a whole lot better in the very near future. So we're on a rather short leash to start having troops come out in about a year, or at least really turn over the operation by mid-2013, and then have the majority of the troops, if not almost all of the troops, out by the end of 2014. That's a relatively short time span.
The protesters that were there and the ones that we saw in this video, were they upset about this specific plan to withdraw the troops?
I don't think it was so much about the plan. I think it was just the war in general. Okay. I think sometimes you get these situations, they're upset about almost any kind of military engagement will get some kind of a response like this. So, and that's the problem too with many of the protests, and especially with the Occupy protests and so on that we've seen. What is the message? What are you trying to say? Yeah. So it gets a little murky at times, but it'll be interesting to see what does indeed happen in Afghanistan over the next year and a half.
Yeah, we have some time to watch it.
Yeah, we do.
Thanks, Doug. We appreciate it. Scott?
All right, Tanya, thank you. Today, nearly 80 Utah soldiers are leaving for a year-long deployment. The soldiers are part of the 191st Combat Sustainment Support Battalion. Standing ovation for members of the 191st. Yesterday, the battalion will oversee logistics operations. They will train in Fort Hood, Texas for 3 months before deploying to Kuwait in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. A Utah native heating up the ice in the NHL playoffs. We'll check out how he's doing and how the Spurs are still perfect in the playoffs.
I'm Jen Hardman, and coming up, we're going to be showing you a new way to get around town. It's all about the Lyric PTV. Stay with us.
Well, the San Antonio Spurs are still on a roll. Man, they've been on a big roll as the NBA playoffs continue.
Yeah, they are hot, and a Salt Lake City native is making a name for himself on the ice in the NHL playoffs. Here's Tom Kirkland.
Yeah, guys, your Monday morning quarterback is kind of a hockey geek right about now. Finals, coming up on KSL 5 and NBC, and I'm a rabid New York Rangers fan, so we hope they're involved in that. But around here, we're all over Salt Lake City native and former Brighton Bengal Trevor Lewis. Listen to his shot almost go in yesterday in the Kings-Coyotes game.
Hansel, Kopitar in the corner, picked up by Lewis. Oh, that hit the goalpost!
Hitting the post is the worst sound, but when it goes in, sometimes it's the best sound. Kings didn't score. They go on to lose 2-0, so the former Brighton Bengal and his Kings do not set a record for fewest games to the Stanley Cup final. There's still just one win from the Cup finals, leading the Coyotes 3-1 heading to Game 5 in Phoenix Tuesday. The NBA's best team, well, the Spurs haven't won anything yet, haven't won the title, but they have won 18 games in a row, sweeping away the Clippers in LA last night. This makes the Jazz sweep by the Spurs not look so bad, right? And if the Thunder beat the Lakers in OKC tomorrow night, it'll set up the dream Western Conference Finals, Spurs and Thunder. Just a matter of time. And we're celebrating the BYU rugby team as well. Remember, Saturday they completed the unbeaten season with a tough win over Arkansas State in the national title game at Rio Tinto Stadium. Gotta love the scrum now, right? Your Monday morning quarterback hoping you all have a marvelous week leading to an even better Memorial Day weekend. We'll see you later, guys.
All right, thanks, Tom. Right now, time to check in on the roads with Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center. We have a big discussion, Mr. Scone King. Is it a scone or is it fried bread?
It's probably fried bread.
Okay.
Sorry, it's still delicious. It's still delicious.
It tastes good.
Yeah, it has our mouths watering this morning, and so we're setting up the big scone or fried bread challenge between Andy Farnsworth and Chuck-A-Rama to see who makes the best.
Because he claims his are better.
He says his are better, hands down.
I'll throw it down, and I have to say I do think Chuck-A-Rama scones are good, but mine was just so good. There's the difference. There's good and there's so good.
Maybe we need to invite Scone Cutter because, if they find out about this, they're going to be going, wait a minute. How can you not have Scone Cutter involved?
Yeah.
So we'll get Scone Cutter and Chuck-A-Rama.
I'm going to get outclassed by the professionals, I think. But I make my dough from scratch. I didn't mention that earlier. I make the dough from scratch.
Okay.
All right, well, let's take a look real quick.
Proof's in the pudding, Andy.
We'll see then. We've got traffic in Utah County here looking good along Pleasant Grove. It actually looks like this the whole drive through Utah County. As you come into the Salt Lake Valley, we are seeing our first kind of buildup of the morning drive right after 90th South. If you're heading out the door in the next 5 or 10 minutes, you'll probably see just a little bit of slowing as you get on the freeway in that stretch. It's been looking good pretty much everywhere else. Here's Parley's Canyon. It's excellent speeds east and westbound up to and from Salt Lake to Park City. And out on the far west side of the Salt Lake Valley, too many shots are showing the sun. Here's a good one at Bangerter Highway and the 21st South Freeway. For those of you coming from West Valley, Magna, and Tooele County, you shouldn't see any issues, at least so far this morning, all the way over to Salt Lake City. So all that in good shape to start us off. Grant Wayman, I watched the eclipse last night. I was driving back from Farmington to West Jordan, and with sunglasses, with the tint that was on like some of the car windows, and with the clouds that was covering the sun, I actually got to look at it for a little bit with the naked eye, but then I started to get a headache, so I stopped.
I was saying, hopefully you didn't do that very long after all the warnings we had.
It was pretty short. But if you looked at it, then you close your eyes, you could see like the image of the sun burned on your retina.
Well, that's great. Great. Making scones and burning the retina.
Your eyeballs.
You had a busy weekend going on there. Hey, but check this out, Andy. This is probably the best way to look at it, and that is from a professional's camera like Tyler Anderson, Farmington. Look at that shot. A view of the eclipse. Nice stuff there. Downtown, a little breezy out there already. It's warm. 54 in Ogden, 50s in Salt Lake City as well, and Provo also into the 50s. So a hotter day today. Now, we stopped in the 80s yesterday. We get even hotter today. Winds picking up from the south a little bit. A little push of some warmer air coming in from the south. Do we get another 90 in Salt Lake today? We're going to be really, really close. Not much of anything going on cloud-wise here across the state, south to the north. Now, if we look way to the north and west, yeah, we're going to find a storm system, cooler, wet weather that eventually gets in our direction. Not today, though. Breezy day today. That south wind already picking up a little bit. Through the afternoon, we'll notice it both to the north and south. Just a warm day. Look at the clock advance all the way through the afternoon. Nothing doing here. It's just some clouds starting to move in by tomorrow morning. There's that colder air. So by Wednesday, looks like our weather really changes here up north. But meantime, we get some warm days ahead. So Zion's up to close to 100 this afternoon. St. George, 97. Beaver, Panguitch, Cedar City, and Hanksville all into the upper 80s to high 90s in Hanksville, a little lower in elevation there. Monticello at 82. Moab into the 90s as well. Center of the state, really warm. Not a big change here, just hotter. Price close to 90 this afternoon. Manti and Nephi about the same thing. Wendover close to 90. Delta, same thing. Up to the north we go, and temperatures here will be soaring up to near 80, even at Bear Lake and Huntsville as well, and hot temperatures down south along the Wasatch Front. Temperatures close to 90 here in Salt Lake City. Upper 90s next couple of days in St. George, and then a nice cool down. Winds pick up on Wednesday, St. George. Could be a little breezy that day, and same thing Friday. And notice how the temperatures go from the high 90s to the lower 80s, it looks like, for the upcoming weekend. Wasatch Front, meantime, winds picking up a little bit more tomorrow. Still looking at a warm day tomorrow into the 80s. But our big changing day, that's Wednesday, right? Because we're going to expect a cold push of air Tuesday night. And so Wednesday, we've got a good chance of rain, cooler, 50s and 60s, maybe more showers Thursday and Friday. And notice the temperature drop there for the end of the week. And I know Memorial Day weekend is coming. Right now, it's looking quite a bit different. Cool, possibly even some wet weather coming our way. So we'll, of course, keep watching that all-important weekend forecast. As we get closer to it, we'll have a much better look. Stormy weather Atlanta, New York, a cool, wet day. Look at Phoenix. Do they hit 110 today? Hot down there. Guys, thank you.
Okay, Grant, thank you. With gas prices ridiculously high right now. In fact, we are higher here in Utah than the national average.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we're up in the 370s. But a lot of people are looking for ways to save, and now we can add one more option to the cost-saving commutes out there.
Yeah, there's a new way to get around town. We're finding out about it this morning with Jen Hardman. She is outside, close to our station here, showing us the Lyric PTV. So what do you think of this thing, Jen?
It's much easier to ride than a Segway, and I tried it for about 10 seconds. I didn't do it too much because I didn't want to, have too much on you guys when we do our races, but it's a personal transportation vehicle, so it's kind of the new way to get around town. Bo Babka hanging out with me, and this is actually based out of Utah, and you have a store in Draper.
Utah companies, our first store in the country was in Draper.
Okay, so let's break it down for people.
Okay.
As far as where are they going to ride these and what are they going to want to ride them for?
They can ride them pretty much anywhere and for pretty much anything. We range from mobility customers to people that commute to people that just want to recreate. So we have quite a range. Here in Utah, it's under the bike law, so they can be on the bike lanes, and obviously if the mobility, they can go anywhere, stores, things like that.
So a 9-year-old can be riding it around the neighborhood, and then somebody can ride it to work?
Yep, if the parent decides they want to ride it, and then the parent jumps on and goes to commute to work, they can do that as well.
How far are they going to get on one of these?
About up to 25 miles on this. Takes about 4 hours to charge the batteries if they're drained, and that's the neat thing about it is it's convenient. You know, you can take it pretty much anywhere, and it's not something that requires any gas. It's green and 9 cents to fill up.
And you can just plug it into the wall. Plug it in. Is it right down here? Is that where?
Yeah, the plugs. There's 2 plugs, one here and one here, and then it's a converter, goes right into the wall, 110.
Now, what about storing it? As far as, you know, do they have to park it like this? What if a family has 5 of them because they all want to ride it? Or can you store it easier?
You can line them up. You can store them. You can break them down.
How do you break them down?
I'll show you that real quick. Break them down by just pulling these 2 levers. Sorry.
Okay.
Grab your thing there. Pulling the unit over like this. Turning the wheel. Unlocking the pin. And then folding it just like that.
Oh, wow.
So it makes into a nice, almost a little suitcase.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah.
You can just stick it right there. Now then to assemble it back, just as easy as that?
Exactly. Just pull this back out. Make sure that tightens up. Pull this out. We make sure these pins are placed in the right area.
So that's a cinch.
See how fast that happens.
Now what about as far as cost goes?
Cost, they range, they're about $2,000. All are different models. Models, as we call them, different tire sizes, front and back, and axle width.
Like this one's the smaller tire, whereas this one has the wider one. Is that for maybe if you wanted to do, can you call it off-roading?
Sure. You can use both for off-roading. We have smaller tires for lower profile, like warehouses and things like that. But you can see here, wide axle, short axle, a little more stability on the big axle, but same fun on both of them.
All right, we're going to, I've got my helmet. I'm going for the yellow, Scott and Tanya. I've got my matching helmet with my matching bike. You guys can come out here. We've got helmets for everybody. We're going to be doing our race coming up. Scott, Tanya, get ready. It's going to be fun. Grant, too, he's going to be out here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's excited, Jen.
As long as we
and
have
that was
helmets,
nice of you to not spend too much time on it so you'll have an edge over us.
I'm going to take it easy on you guys.
I'll try.
All right, we'll see you out there in a few.
Okay, we'll be racing coming up. Stay with us. And we'll announce our Carrie Underwood ticket winners.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We are here just across the street from the Triad Center, getting ready for a big race on these new vehicles here that we're going to tell you all about in just a second. Hey, we picked a good day for it, though. It's already pretty warm out here with the sunshine. Temperature is around 60 right now, and we warm up to near 90 degrees for today. Down south, temperatures in the upper 90s, so a warm day all around. If we can, Stephanie, let's jump to the 7-day forecast for St. George. Hot today, hot tomorrow, not as hot Wednesday. Boy, by the end of the week, we really look to cool down, even in St. George, even though that's Memorial Day weekend coming up. Wasatch Front, today's our hot day, tomorrow warm. But look at Wednesday, everybody. Big change there. We're going to expect more clouds, cooler weather, temperatures only around the 60s, and maybe some rain Wednesday. And you know what? We could see some rain leading up to the end of the week and into the upcoming weekend, too. So changes definitely ahead. All right, it's traffic time now. Let's go to Andy for that.
Well, we're starting to see our first heavy traffic of the morning. As you can see here, right after 90th South, traffic getting a little bit busier. You'll probably see just a little bit of brake tapping as you get on the freeway there. The rest of it's been moving at the speed limit between Provo and Salt Lake, but typical traffic starting to settle in. And this is in Davis County. It's also getting a little bit heavy around 5th South Bountiful, but nothing out of the ordinary so far. Back to you guys.
We're on. We're back here. Who has the mic?
Hey, we're back here. I think we're back here. Like, we're all getting geared up. Grant's got he's got his Super Mario helmet that he's putting on right now. Before we get to the lyric race here, we need to tell you that Kelly Thomas is the winner of our Carrie Underwood tickets today. And congratulations, Kelly. And for those of you who didn't win, you've got a chance the rest of the week. Every morning we're giving away a pair of tickets. Okay, Grant is getting ready to cruise right now. Get back here, Grant. We got to get on the finish line. So Grant, this is his first spin on this, getting a feel of it. Bo, you're going to go ahead and hold the mic and give us the play-by-play. Now, where are we going on this?
Yeah, that was the. Okay, we're going to go around the maroon car or SUV, and then back into this yellow pole. And back around, kind of a figure 8, and then through here.
So around the maroon car first?
Around the maroon car first, back around this yellow pole, and then back around.
Okay, I have no intention.
Are we ready?
We got 30 seconds.
Set, go. And, oh, Grant's off to a good start. Oh, it should have been on. Jen can't go.
Go.
Is it on?
Uh-oh, Scott and Grant. Looks like Scott and Grant, they're making the turn. Tanya's a little bit behind. Look at her. Remember that the PTV goes 22 miles an hour. Look at how fast. Oh. Grant is
Scott,
the winner.
ran out of gas, he said.
He ran out of gas.